The worst kept secret in gaming, the Black Flag remake is probably just around the corner, possibly releasing as early as 2026. This jackdaw sprung so many leaks you'd think it'd be sinking by now, just like Skull and Bones. Boat puns. We know an absurd amount about a remake that hasn't even officially hoisted its flag yet, but that's not the problem. The real issue is, I'm genuinely worried. Does modern Ubisoft have what it takes to do justice to such a beloved game? I'm not so sure. So let's break down exactly why I'm concerned about Assassin's Creed Black Flag Remake. Firstly, who is making the Black Flag Remake? Is it Bordeaux or Montreal or maybe even Quebec? No, it's not. It's Ubisoft Singapore, who brought us such amazing gems as the previously mentioned Skull and Bones. I don't know why I said it like that. I apologize. Skull and Bones, without a doubt, is a sinking ship. Somehow this game is still getting updates for the 3 people who still play it. Now, to be fair to Singapore, they have been a support studio for a large majority of the other Assassin's Creed projects, including Valhalla, Odyssey, and Origins. They've worked on many different parts of the games, including many side quests, mini-games, or even entire islands in Odyssey, but most of their notable work is in the sailing in Odyssey and Valhalla. That is clearly their expertise, so they're no stranger to making sailing and ships feel good. The actual ship combat is not really the big problem with Skull and Bones. It's literally everything else that is terrible. There are updates on the way for it, but at launch there was nothing much to do on land at all. There was no land combat, there was just nothing to do but grind more things for your ship. That's all the game was, and probably still is. I'm just kind of worried that this studio don't have the chops to be the lead on a big project like this, all on their own. Sure, they have done great work as a support studio, but the only evidence we have of when they're actually in charge is the disaster of Skull and Bones. They haven't shown that they can lead a project, and they definitely have not shown that they can ship a competent product. I have no doubt in my mind that it was managed poorly by Ubisoft higher-ups. That is just a given at this stage. But that isn't going to change for this remake. The only point in its favor here is that it's a remake, so the game is already there, they just have to modernize a few things. However, I don't think that's all they're gonna do, but we'll discuss that in a bit. I would love for Singapore to knock it out of the park here and get a bit of street cred back with the fans. But all the evidence we have just suggests that this is going to be another bad release. I really hope I'm wrong on this one. So as I alluded to just a second ago, I think they're going to do more than just modernize this game. Modern Ubisoft is obsessed with playtime and nothing else. They want to pad these games out, make the biggest worlds possible with endless repeating content. I really don't want them to do that to Black Flag. I also think they're going to attempt to pad out the main story for a longer campaign as well, because the longer you play, the more likely you are to buy microtransactions. I think Edward's story is one of the best in the series. I have issues with other parts of it, such as the modern day, but Edward's story through the West Indies is perfect. He is an amazing character with a truly fantastic supporting cast. I don't want them to touch that story. Besides Darby, Ubisoft don't have competent writers who understand Assassin's Creed anymore. Anyone who did has left the studio. I don't want any of these people to touch this gem of a story. It's almost guaranteed at this point that they're going to add things to this game. At the very least, new dialogue, which could point to more story. I just think it's exactly what they're going to do. Personally, I would love to see the things that happen in the book that occur before the main story of the OG Black Flag, but I don't want any of these writers to do it. So this is a huge reason why I'm worried about Black Flag. I think they're going to bloat the ever-living hell out of the story that doesn't need or want it. I also think that they will extend the size of the world. We don't need these gigantic maps, it's just completely unnecessary and unneeded. It's just more dev time and money that could be used in other areas of the game. Baghdad from Mirage, for instance, is a one-city game that feels more alive and has more detail than anywhere in Shadows, which has frankly a ridiculous huge map that's just empty by comparison. And I bet that creating Baghdad took a fraction of the time and money to do. My point is that Black Flag doesn't need to get any bigger. I don't mind if they change up a few things here and there, and maybe let us get to the top of mountains and other places that are just not accessible in the original. But other than that, I kind of hope they keep it mostly the same. I could see an update to the combat or changing up some of the missions to remove some of the excessive tailing missions, but honestly, I just hope they keep the same story. I really doubt it, which is why I'm very cautious about this release. Ubisoft historically do not have a good track record with remasters, or remakes for that matter. The Prince of Persia remake was announced to thunderous disdain back in 2020. It has since been transferred to Montreal and completely restarted. So that's one bad egg. Let's also talk about the Ezio collection, which saw multiple downgrades in a lot of areas, specifically lighting and color grading. They just cranked the contrast and called it a day. It looks awful, and it completely lost the vibe and atmosphere that these games were supposed to have. That's not even mentioning the AC3 remaster, which has been universally derided for similar crimes. Completely washed out the entire game, gave it some strange orange filter, ruined the lighting, and made everyone a potato face. They have all been quick cash grabs to make money with as small a budget and dev time as possible, all while forcing you to buy it as they delist the originals. So yeah, my confidence in Ubisoft as a whole isn't that great. They show no respect for their older titles ever, so why would they start now? The PC version of AC1 is currently almost unplayable without mods or without redirecting a server request so it doesn't freeze every 10 seconds. And if you want to play with a controller, it's pretty much a nightmare to get working as well. They're still selling this game, by the way, so there's no excuse not to make it work for modern systems. Ubisoft have a terrible reputation within the gaming industry, and for a reason. Because they mistreat their employees, their fans, and even their own products, all in the name of profit. Just an endless void of needing to increase profit due to being them publicly traded. Alright, now that my rant is over, all I mean is that Ubisoft has shown they care little for the actual creations, only that they make money. So I am not really trusting them to give the proper care and integrity this remake deserves for a fanbase who just wants to love their games. I think they're gonna bloat it out and stuff in a bunch of microtransactions, ruining the original game. And once they're done possibly ruining it, they will remove the original from sale, so you have no other option than to play the new, more expensive game. Ubisoft has a tendency to do this. They have already been removing things from the original Black Flag, such as Kenway's Fleet, which recently got removed. There is no length they will not go to. Willis Makes Movies has a fantastic couple of videos on this topic, so I'll leave them linked down in the description if you want to check them out and learn more about, all the stuff they're doing to Black Flag behind the scenes. The long and short of it is that unless you already own Black Flag, you will have no choice but to pony up the big bucks for the remake if you want to experience this game. Actually, there's another option, and I am not suggesting that you do this, but if the original is removed from sale, pirating Black Flag would be some pretty poetic shit, wouldn't it? Ubisoft has also completely removed people's ability to even play the games they paid for. The crew was removed from storefronts and completely shut down. Even the single player portion of this game is no longer accessible. A game you paid for, they just wiped from the face of the earth. I understand live services and servers can't go on forever, but they need to release end-of-life patches that let people keep the games they paid for, especially the single-player parts. The same might happen for Black Flag, just like the removal of the fleet missions, which has already happened. So even owning the original Black Flag isn't going to be a catch-all for this problem. I'm just worried that we're going to lose a game that everyone loves and cherishes to this new version. Lastly, I want to discuss the story of the game itself. Now, Edward's arc is amazing. The story of Black Flag is peak AC. The modern day, however, is not. I am not sure how they're going to rewrite the modern day stuff. Like, do we just play as an assassin this time instead of an Abstergo employee? Honestly, I think they're going to wipe the entire modern day from the game. Now, Black Flag's modern day is by all measures an utter piece of shit. But without it, the historical story isn't as awesome. It's just my opinion, but I really think they're going to act like the modern day just doesn't exist at all to get around all the obvious flaws in remaking a game that was set in the year it was released. I think they should take the opportunity to retcon the old modern day and really tell a better version of Juno's story. That would be a better way to go about it in my opinion. Okay, I've been rambling for too long. Let me know what you think down in the comments. Am I being overly dramatic, or do you share my concerns? Let me know if I missed anything. Thank you to my one and only patron, Alex Applegate. You're a champ. Right, that's it for today. Thanks for watching, everyone. Sticks out.